Good morning and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Bob Martin. I'm the president of the Imagine America Foundation. Joining me today on today's session of Imagine America Radio is my foundation colleague, Lee Doubleday. Lee and I are extremely excited about today's career topic, automotive technology, sponsored by Universal Technical Institutes, or UTI. UTI is the country's leading provider of high-quality, career-focused education at 12 locations nationwide. UTI is also a 20-year sponsor of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs, having provided admissions-based financial aid to more than 15,000 enrolling Imagine America students. Without taking valuable time from our presenter, let me refer any and all inquiries about the Imagine America Foundation to our website, www.imagine-america.org, or you can call or email either Lee Doubleday or myself at the information on the website.
Automotive technology careers are some of the most popular programs in career colleges. And since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in certified automotive technicians. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country desperately looking for more qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Universal Technical Institute, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming automotive technician shortage and how UTI is helping meet this need is Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle is a nationally recognized expert in this area with an extensive K-12 background.
Before turning the program over to Dr. Coyle, let me briefly outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum, including questions and answers. Once we finish these remarks, we're going to move directly into today's presentation. All participants can submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A on this Zoom meeting. At the end of the presentation, or approximately 10:25 a.m., we will open up it for any questions offered by the participants. We'll address any and all of those questions, as many as possible, and provide written responses in follow-up emails. We will have a hard close at 10:30 a.m. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Dr. Stephen Coyle. Dr. Coyle, the floor is yours.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our presentation. Appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. The agenda today is threefold. We're going to start off first with challenges facing the workforce. We're going to follow this up with opportunities in the transportation industry, and then we will finally conclude with Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. I always like starting off a presentation talking about the changing workforce. From the 20th century to the 21st century, there's been a drastic shift. As you can see, in the 20th century, we were very much an agricultural manufacturing economy. Today, that has shifted quite a bit into almost totally service in our economy. You can all attest to that yourselves. If you own a car, if you own a house, if you can own a washing machine, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes down to getting someone to come out and work on something, let alone someone who is qualified. So you can see that's where we're very much service oriented. You can even spill this over into the restaurant business. When you go to a restaurant to eat, they may tell you there's a 30 or 40-minute wait. You look around, there's 8 or 9 tables open. You're going, well, what's the holdup? They don't have servers. So service is very much needed in our economy today. You also might see on their agriculture drop from 41% to 2%. You might say, wow, what happened there? Are we starving to death? No, quite the contrary. We feed more people with that 2% than we did with the 41% due to technology. But once again, that ties into service in that we need technicians that can work on equipment. A survey was done in 2016 of 150,000 students, and they were asked, how many of you would like a skilled trades career? You can see 3% said, yes, that's what I want. Not a very good turnout. But that same group then was asked, how many of you would like a STEM career? Over 45% said, yes, that's what I want. Sign me up. And you can see there lies the disconnect. Students do not see the connection between STEM and skilled trades. Unfortunately, we have many educators that also don't see that connection. They tend to think of STEM as white collar rather than blue collar. I like to say STEM is all collars because STEM permeates our economy. We can see STEM career growth between 2017 and 2027. It's projected STEM jobs will grow over 13%, while other jobs will grow at 9%. But the more distinct difference is the amount of median earnings per hour, STEM jobs versus non-STEM jobs. You can see in STEM jobs almost $39 an hour median earnings, whereas in non-STEM jobs just over $19 an hour. So quite a difference in potential there. And you can then take that to yearly earnings. In non-STEM occupations, just over $38,000 a year. STEM occupations, almost $87,000 a year. So over double earnings potential in STEM careers as opposed to non-STEM careers. A fifth of the jobs in this country require a bachelor's degree for entry. Only 20% require a bachelor's degree. The other startling statistic is that almost half of college graduates that are walking around today go into occupations they didn't even need the degree. They got the degree, they spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money to get that degree, and then found out they didn't even need it in the first place. That's why career planning, career readiness is so important in this country. And that's where school counselors become so vital in this, because we need to guide these students better in what they actually need to achieve the goals that they want to achieve. I talk a lot to educators about the old SMART versus the new SMART. So people always ask me, what is the old SMART? Well, it's very simple. First thing you want to do is find the best school you can get in, no matter what it is, the best schools, the prestigious schools out there. And then when you get there, figure out what it is that you want to do. You might laugh at that and say, really, but how many of you changed majors while you were in college? I know I did. So that we want to find out, what it is we want to do. And then once we get that degree in our hand, we walk out the front door saying, here I am, world, hire me. And we know today that just does not work. It just is not feasible to think that we can get into a career in that manner. You might even look at that and say, this is just ridiculous in the first place. Who in the world does that? Well, think back, we just came out of an admissions scandal where families were actually paying, bribing schools to get into the prestigious schools like Stanford and USC. Some of the schools, they were paying money to get their sons and daughters in there, falsifying records, all kinds of things. And what's really sad about all that is that in many instances, their sons or daughters didn't even want to go to school in the first place. So not only did they waste a lot of money, but they also, some of them had to serve jail time. So it is real. It does go on. Now we jump forward to the new SMART. So what is the new SMART today? Well, the first thing we want to do is find out, what do students want to do? What are they good at? We ask every little kid in this country, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always challenge high school counselors, why do you stop asking that question? Next time a sophomore, junior, or senior walks in your office, hit them with that question. Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Of course, they're going to look at you very indignant, like, well, I'm already grown up. What are you talking about? But in reality, they're not being asked that question, so they're not really thinking about it that much. I used to always say your passion can be your paycheck, but I've since put that away, because what if you're not very good at your passion? We all do things that we love to do, and we become good at it. So that's why it's very important that we look at this with our students. So let's find out what they're good at first. Then the second part of the new SMART is, how do they get to where they want to be? Do they need an internship? Do they need a community college? Do they need an associate's degree? Do they need a bachelor's degree? Do they need a master's degree? Or do they need a certificate showing competency-based credentials? That's the next part that we have to find out. What program do they need? Part of their career pathway. And then finally, what school do they need to make that happen? Why would we send a student to the University of Houston if they want to be a welder? I mean, you might be able to do that, but you could go to a welding school and get the credentials you're going to need and do it in a lot less time and a lot less money and still get to where they want to be. So we have to think in terms of the new smart today to help our students to get prepared for the career that they want. The rule of 127. I talk about this to educators quite a bit. I always ask the question, how many of you heard of the rule of 127? And very few have. It's very simple. If you add 1, 2, and 7 together, you get 10. So for every 10 careers that are out there today, right now, only one requires an advanced degree. That would mean a master's degree or higher. 2 out of 10 of the careers today only require a bachelor's degree. 7 out of the 10 careers that are available today, right now, only require competency-based credentials or an associate's degree. That's it. 7 out of 10. Yet, we are pushing students into colleges and universities at a 70% clip. So you can see what we're doing is just exactly the opposite of what the economy is dictating to us we should be doing. So what we're doing is we're setting students up for failure, or we're setting students up to spend a lot of time, effort, and money into a bachelor's degree or higher that they won't even need anyway. So once again, the rule of 127, apply it. We have to understand that STEM and skilled trades do go hand in hand. I work with educators. I educate educators all the time, just like I'm doing here, to make you understand this. And then in turn, educators need to educate parents and students. I understand parents. They come from the old smart. They're thinking in terms of, that prestigious school, and they've got to have that bachelor's degree. But we have to educate them that maybe their student, their son or daughter, that's not what they want. They want something different. So we have to make that connection there. We also have to get rid of this myth of university for all. It just doesn't work any longer. All your students are different, and you know that. Students have different wants and needs. And so it's important for us as educators that we guide these students properly, that we give them the necessary information so they can make a more informed decision. One of the things I always challenge educators with is to drop the word college out of your vocabulary. No, don't drop college, drop the word college. When you say post-secondary education, that encompasses colleges, universities, but it also encompasses other things like the welding schools, the trade schools, the cosmetology schools, all these different post-secondary educations. And what it does, it shows students all of these are important. You're not less important because you decide that you want to become a auto technician as opposed to becoming a teacher or a doctor. They're all needed. And then finally, we have to remember, what are employers looking for? They're looking for competency-based credentials. What do you bring to the table that they need? That's what businesses and companies are looking for. The second part of our agenda is opportunities in the transportation industry. I don't care if you're talking about a car, a truck, a tractor, a combine, a boat, a motorcycle, an ATV, doesn't matter. All of these vehicles are rolling computers. They're all getting more high tech. It's amazing the amount of technology that is in a vehicle today. And you can all attest to that. But what's more important is that this technology makes our vehicles safer. For instance, we have things like the backup cameras. You've all heard the horror stories of someone backing over a child, sometimes their own child, because they couldn't see him back there. With the backup cameras, I wonder how many lives have been saved because of that. Or the blind spot indicators. We've all been guilty of that one. We start to pull over and we get honked at. It's like we turn around, where did that car come from? We didn't even see him. This is why they call it the blind spot. But with a blind spot indicator, we can know what's going on around our car. So once again, safety features. And the voice-activated navigation so that we can keep our hands on the wheel and we can watch what's going on ahead of us. I can go on and on with the technology here, but the problem is not the technology. The problem is being able to work on that technology. I read an article not too long ago talking about farmers and how they are really looking for older equipment now rather than buying the brand new equipment. Why? Because they can't work on it. They can work on the older equipment, but they can't work on this new stuff. And there are not enough technicians out there to work on the new equipment. That worries them because they can't afford to have their tractors down in the field. They can't afford to have their combines not operating. That's money. Time is money. So that's sad because with the new technology, they can get a greater yield per acre, and it just makes their lives so much easier. There are over 1.3 billion vehicles on the road today, and over 273 million of those are right here in the United States. That's the reason why by 2028, we project 1.1 million technician job openings. By 2028, that's not very far away. Now, and that's a lot of positions we have to fill. You have to understand the skills gap is not narrowing, it continues to widen, and we have to stop that. And then finally, the third part of our agenda is Universal Technical Institute's career pathways. Who is UTI? Well, as was mentioned earlier in the webinar, we are the leading provider of technicians in the country. We have 12 campuses nationwide. We place over 4 out of 5 of our graduates into their chosen field. And notice I said chosen field. McDonald's doesn't count. It means in the field that they wanted to move into in the first place. And then we have over 220,000 graduates, and that number continues to grow in our 55-year history. We offer training programs in auto, diesel, collision, motorcycle, marine, NASCAR, CNC, and welding. You can't just come to UTI, you must be invited. And that is based on a personal interview with the student and their families, so that we can find out more about the student, find out what are they good at, what do they want to do, what do they want to be when they grow up. We talk to them about these fields, but we also talk about occupations within occupations. For instance, student, they may not want to turn a wrench, but they love cars. They want to go into cars somehow. Well, they might be a good candidate to be a service writer. Or maybe they want to go to work for an insurance company to be a claims adjuster. The insurance companies love our graduates because they know the car inside and out. You hit a deer, bends up the fender and the bumper, all that kind of stuff. But what you don't see is all the damage that was done on the inside, and a trained technician would be able to see that. Industry-aligned technology. What we do hybrid teaching. We do the online classrooms, and then we do the hands-on labs. This is to follow what happens in a dealership. We align ourselves with industry. Dealerships can no longer afford to send their technicians off for training. That's downtime and that's loss of revenue. So they do a lot of online training. What we do then is we do that online training with students so that they get used to that. So when they go into that dealership for their first job out of school, then they're already familiar with what's taking place there. And then, of course, the hands-on, that's where, learning by doing. And our labs are geared for that very thing. Our education model is pretty simple. We teach competency-based credentials, and we do it in 3-week courses. In 3 weeks, you do nothing but one specific thing, like brakes. That's all you do for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, that's 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, nothing but brakes. And that's how we build our technician from the ground floor up. Of course, we are in the pandemic right now, and so because of that, our labs have become CDC compliant. We try to keep our schools as safe as we possibly can. We require assigned doors for students to enter and leave. We require temperature checks. We require face coverings. We have reduced our lab sizes so we can maintain social distancing and the 6-foot separation. We require the washing of our hands. We clean and disinfect constantly, and we also offer phone support for students and their families that still don't feel safe to come in. But we were already doing the hybrid model. We've just had to adjust it to be CDC compliant, which we've done a very good job of. Also, because of the pandemic, we're offering virtual presentations. Of course, we would love to come in face to face, and if your school allows that, we would love to come in. However, many schools are not doing that right now, so we offer virtual presentations. These presentations can be on Microsoft Teams or Zoom, or if you have a different platform, we can use yours as well. We just want to make it convenient for you. And of course, we talk about, what is the life you imagine? We talk about financial security, in today's workforce. Some of the things that I've mentioned today to you, we talk about to students, the road to success, and talking about the different forms of post-secondary education that they could follow. So we cover these, as I said, in a virtual format, and you can reach out to me and I can help you that, or you can reach out to the campus to get more information. I'll give you more on that here a little bit later. UTI has a national presence, and that's important for a couple reasons. Number one, you'd be hard pressed to walk into a dealership and say UTI and they wouldn't know who you are. The other part, though, is the fact that we can help students to gain employment across the country because we have so many different campuses spread out across the country. So, a student could go to school at the Houston campus, but if they wanted to transfer up in North Texas, we have a campus up there too, so we could help them to gain employment there. Or if they wanted to move out west or move out east, we're everywhere. So that national presence gives students a distinct advantage. We have over 35 industry relationships with the big dogs, as I call it, the BMW, GMC, Toyota, Infiniti, Nissan, all these companies we work with. And these are as I say often, we're not preparing students for Jiffy Lube. We're preparing our students to go to work for these types of companies in this industry. As I say, over 4 out of 5 of our UTI graduates get hired. You can see one of the things that we do here is we really try to showcase our graduates because they're going to give future students, the true story of what takes place out there. You can see we have 3 on the screen in front of you. Those 3 have a couple things in common. You see the smiles on their faces. That has a lot to do with the fact that they're doing what they love to do. But the other thing that you're going to see that all 3 of these have in common is they have a great work ethic. They worked hard to get there. UTI is not easy. We want our students prepared for the industry so that when they walk out of our school, they're ready to hit the ground running and to be successful in that dealership that they go to work in. So we want to make sure that they are prepared. We offer grants, scholarships, and loans to help students to be able to make their education affordable. One of the things we are Title IV funded. So therefore, we require students to fill out a FAFSA to see if they qualify for financial aid. We have over $15 million in sponsored scholarships available to students. We offer housing grants. We offer institutional grants as a way to help make school more affordable and really to help students to get started, because that's really one of the biggest problems is that first step, moving to the campus and getting ready to go. And then, of course, we offer third-party programs to help cover emergency expenses called LIFE. I skipped number 5 on purpose because it's one I'm most proud of and one that's been very successful for us, and that's the TRIP Employer Program, the Tuition Reimbursement Incentive Program. It's proven to be very beneficial to our students. It gives them a light at the end of the tunnel. These dealerships offer packages, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. They don't hand them a check for that. They pay them in increments every time they get paid, and they can use that money towards their student loans to once again take care of their student loan debt. I'm a retired educator. I know exactly what you all do, and we thank you for your hard work. Counselors are important because you're going to convey this information that I've conveyed to you today. And how we can help is that we provide open houses for our students or for your students, and we can also visit your school either virtually or in person. We'll share a lot of the things that I've talked to you about today, and everything is free. But we just want to be able to partner with you to help you with your students any way we possibly can. You can follow us online on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, of course, our uti.edu website, and of course, our television commercials, which many of you have probably seen. And then finally, this is my contact information. Also on the call with me today is Joseph Montoya. He's the Regional Admissions Director at the Houston campus. So you can feel free to reach out to him or ask for him when you contact the campus, or you can contact me. That's my mobile number. That's also my email address. I'd love to hear from you. Any comments, any questions you might have, I'd love to help any way I can. Thank you so much for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Coyle. We are now going to begin the question and answer portion of our presentation today. So it does look like we have a question that has come in, and this person wants to know if they wanted to contact a UTI, should they contact a local rep, or could they go to the website or contact you directly? How would you answer that question?
Well, either way, you can contact me. I can get the information out to the appropriate person, to the RAD. Like I said, Joseph Montoya. I work with him quite a bit, and you can also go to our website, uti.edu. Just type in an inquiry that you're looking for a workshop or you'd like for it to be contacted by someone, and we can take care of you.
Dr. Coyle, this is Bob again. The second question comes from the Austin area. It has to do with cost comparisons with community or junior colleges. Could you very quickly give us an idea of the different length of programs between UTI and community or junior colleges, and also cost comparisons between the two?
Absolutely. I get this question all the time. If I always talk about ROI, return on investment. And so you have to look at the total picture when you're comparing schools. Obviously, it's a difference in what we offer as compared to what the community college will offer. We're more manufacturer specific. They're more of a general type education. On the outside, you look and say, well, the junior college or community college costs less than UTI, and you would be right. But you have to remember a couple more things. Number one is you're going to be at the community college for 2+ years, 2 to 3 years. At UTI, you're going to be there for a year, give or take a month or two, depending upon what program you decide to do. So by the time you're 19 years old, you're graduated and you're out into the field making money while you're still at the community college spending money, to get your education. The other thing is that I think is a great equalizer is the trip employers. We have these connections with all of these employers, and they're offering packages to our students. So they really, if they're willing to work hard, now they just don't give those away. They have to display good professionalism, education, attendance, all these type of things. They have to maintain good grades, but they can get their education paid for. So when you do all the comparisons, we compare very favorably with community colleges.
All right, Dr. Coyle. Now I do have another question that came in, and this person wants to know if you have any events coming up in the area, or if you have any kind of virtual events that students can sign up for. Can you speak to that a little bit?
No, other than, we can come out, we can do like, if you allow people to come out to your campus, we can do like STEM workshops for you out there. We don't really have any campus events set up right now. We are open and we're operating, but you can reach out on our website, and you can go specifically to the campus. You can see what's coming up in the future. And once again, asking for Joseph Montoya, who's the Regional Admissions Director, and he can help guide you.
Thanks, Stephen. We really appreciate it. Let me cover a couple of housekeeping details for our audience, our participants. First of all, the foundation will be compiling and forwarding a set of follow-up questions related to admissions to UTI, and we'll be forwarding those to each and every one of the participants. Second, the foundation has recorded this session, and we'll be forwarding this to all registered participants. In addition to that, we're going to place this recording on our website, www.imagine-america.org, with specific download instructions. We find that it's really good to go back for the participants to go back and listen to it a second time. They missed something, or maybe there's some detail that's very helpful to them. Finally, we're going to be conducting a follow-up survey to determine any other possible next topics and locations for these sessions. Before closing, I'd like to thank the participants for taking time out of their very busy schedules to join today's session on automotive careers. We know you're very busy. We also know that you're